My name is Cinda Baxter, the owner of Details Inc., Fine Stationery, Invitations, and Gifts in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And the name of the segment we're about to jump into is Paying Attention is Paying Respect. It's all about staying personal with your customers. Basically, you want to remember that every relationship you build with a customer is one that's going to translate outside the store. If you have a positive relationship with one person, they'll tell 5 or 6 other people about it, and then you've got good buzz. Quite often, I have looked at my life in the last 13 years and recognized that those relationships have turned into very rich friendships over the years. And if not for the front door on the front of this store, there are a lot less people who would be in my world that make it a bright and shiny place every day. Now, you want to try to build those relationships and treasure them, but you need to be sure your customers know that you're treasuring them as well, not just as a customer, but as a person. That's where the real connection is. Some of the things I'm going to suggest, you're going to groan. I'm going to hear you groan from here. It's stuff you're going to go, oh, man, that takes too much time. I want you to stop and think about the eventual payoff, though, because it will be huge. The first example, and get ready, here comes the groan, handwritten thank you notes. I know, I heard you. Bottom line is if you say thank you in a personal way, that's something the big boxes can't possibly do. You're able to make this one-on-one with your customer. An example is most of what we do in our special orders has to do with wedding. We do a lot of wedding invitations every year, whether from outside vendors using their designs or using our own custom design service in-house. Every time we write a wedding order, before the paperwork is filed, we literally get a thank you note out and write the thank you note. Customers have a lot of options these days. They can go to the internet, they can go to the big boxes, they can go to the store across the street, but they came here. And we want to write them a note. I appreciate you coming in. We don't make it sound like a form letter. Reference something personal that was fun that day. You know, I got such a kick out of finding out that your grandparents grew up in the same town my grandparents grew up in. You want to be sure this is human. But I guarantee you, when they open their mailbox 2 days later and see a handwritten thank you note, that's going to go a long way. And don't tuck a business card into the envelope. This is a thank you note, not marketing material to them. Now, one of the things that's a task that I enjoy and then don't sometimes is the holiday shopping. Now, admittedly, owning a retail store, I'm not the first person who's crazy about going out and shopping. This will kind of cure you of that to a certain degree. If I had an easy way to do it, it makes things a lot simpler. And so what I do is try to make it simple for my customers. Every fall, I fax all of my vendors a form asking them, what is your holiday cutoff? If it's UPS ground, what's the cutoff? If it's UPS overnight, what's your cutoff? Keeping in mind that the vast majority of what we carry is custom and not off the shelf. I take all those forms once they've been faxed back, and I compile them into a single pamphlet for customers. I list all the different products that they can order with little check boxes next to each of them and show what the cutoff dates are. If you need it and you're using UPS ground, please order before this date. If you don't get it ordered by then, here's a backup date, but it's going to be overnight UPS. By using that, they can go through and check mark the boxes of things that they find interesting, and they've got a shopping list in their hand. Again, it's got your name on it, it's branded, they know where it comes from, but it shows all of the options, the myriad of options that you offer them, while making it really easy. Here's my shopping list. They can walk in one afternoon, sit down, and just peel through whatever they've checkboxed. It's a simple system that simplifies their lives while still putting your name out there. We stuff it in bags, we leave it in a little holder on the counter. I'll drop a couple in the mail to special people. It's an effective tool. It works very, very well. You also want to consider a VIP program. And while I know there are a lot of customer loyalty programs that are out there and a lot of the little plastic card systems that you scan, that's a bigger animal than I really need to bring into the room. We don't have the space for something like that, and I really don't have the specific needs to get into a program quite that large. However, we do have what we call the Red Letter Club. And what that is a list of our top 100 customers. We went through and looked at who we see the most often, not just the big dollar orders, but the people that we see frequently, because that's our bread and butter customer. To each of them, we send an invitation to Red Letter events, along with an invitation to bring a friend. What that does is, A, it allows them to bring someone along so they don't feel like they won't know anyone when they get there. Think about if you're ever invited to a wedding and you're single and they don't do that and guest thing, how awkward that is. This kind of circumvents that. It's not awkward. The benefit for me is it brings one more pair of eyes into the room. If I've invited 100 people, let's say that you get a 30% return rate, which we do sometimes depending on the event. We might actually have 60 people of 10 because everyone's brought a friend along. It's a lot of good word of mouth. It's a feel-good event for everybody. And it's doubling my customer base for an event. It works pretty well. Another thing you want to think about around the holiday season, and I know this is going to get the second groan, is hand-signed holiday cards. Again, it's personal and it's warm, and I know you don't have time to do it during the holidays, so order your cards during the summer. Most of us are quiet that time of year. Take them home, do 10 a night, do 15 a night, do 20 a night, however many you need. But then mail them all out during the holiday season. People will get hand-addressed envelopes with hand-signed cards and a note saying, thanks a bunch, I really appreciate your business, I hope you have a great year. Cinda. That's great. That's something big boxes cannot and will not ever be able to accomplish. It sets you apart again. The last thing that comes to mind that I like to do for customers to keep it personal is to actually shop the market for them. I go to a couple of gift shows a year and then the stationery show in New York every May. And customers have come to learn that if they're trying to find something special and it's something we don't have, if they come in and talk to me about it, I will take that list to the show. I will call them from the show floor. I'll say, hey, listen, I just found this. Let me describe it to you. What do you think? Now, with the advent of digital cameras and little photo phones, you can actually take pictures of products and email it to them and say, is this what you're describing? I can go ahead and order it. Here's the price. Here's what we can do. When do you need it in? Big boxes can't do that for them either and wouldn't in 100 years. But we're small, we're nimble, and we're quick. We can make it look easy, and we bring a lot of happiness to the customer that way. So anyway, those are the ways to connect with your customer and make it more personal. Again, my name is Cinda Baxter. I appreciate you watching. And stick with us. We're going to jump into the big animal next, press releases. Thanks.